Hello! This is the One Episode Rule, a podcast about first impressions. I am Magpie. Still not completely recovered from the great illness,
Oh
You
no,
poor thing.
you will
I'm
survive.
so sorry.
but I'm hanging in there. You'd think I would have watched a bunch of anime or something while I was recovering, but I simply did not.
Hyperfixated on big robots.
I just slept and read RPG books. So
Yep. That's what happens sometimes. Listen.
how's the I gotta recover so I could watch JoJo.
Yeah, I need to finish that.
But anyway,
Stone Ocean is out.
how the rest of you guys?
I'm going first this time. I call it. It's me. Hello. Hi, I'm Louie. I'm cutting in line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Relax.
How do you feel about them apples?
I feel indifferent about these apples.
Okay. Well, that's good because all apples are good apples, unless they're rotten. Anyway, I haven't done anything this week. I watched Geats with Joey a little bit.
Yep.
We caught up.
Fun.
Bet-
We gotta watch another one tomorrow.
Hang on. I'm gonna cut in line to tell you nothing.
Basically, yeah. I just wanted to go because I feel like I never go first, and I wanted to be like.
That's because we have a set order.
Well, now you've gone.
Oh, now we
you've
don't.
gone.
How about
Not to
that?
pull back the curtain or anything, but
Now we don't.
It's alphabetical.
And not all apples are good apples. You guys seen that Apple rating site? It's hilarious. But anyway,
Listen, I got left at the store last week. I got scared. I just wanted people to know that I'm safe.
Anyhow, hi, I'm cutting in line too. No, I'm just kidding. Blackla, you introduce yourself.
I'm Blackle Mori. I am the person who's supposed to go first, and who had their toes stepped on when Louis butt in line. But I
Oh, your
finished.
poor
I have some.
toes.
Oh no, my tootsie toes. I finished Disco Elysium this weekend.
fucking sick.
That's my
and-
favorite anime.
And you know what? You say that, but it does feel like an anime, weirdly at times. I will say that I think Disco Elysium is probably the best video game. Mostly because it's very unlike most video games, and that's why I like it. It's totally infraculture, baby.
The video game for people who do not like video games.
Exactly. Who like reading books like I do. So I enjoyed that, and now I am walking the slow march of pain, trying to find other games quite like or like it, and finding out that there's no such thing. So
Redo Mineko.
There's a Flame in Winter if you want to look it up.
I heard that Kentucky Road Zero's got similar vibes, so I should do that.
Hello. I am Joey, and this week I'm going to a convention.
Yay!
Oh shit! Is that this
See,
week?
we saved the biggest news for last.
No, it's we're leaving in 2 days, so.
What are you cosplaying as anything?
I am going to be. So, I'm part of a Tumblr sexy man cosplay group. We got all the hit. Well, we don't have a Onceler, but we got a lot of the good hits. We got a Sans, we got a Kamida, we got a Megamind, we got a Bill Cipher, we got a Herobrine. That's me. That's yours truly. Oh, there was someone else I want to say. But anyhow, we'll be there. We'll be in bunny costumes. If you're at Hallmat, say hi.
Extremely exciting.
Does Mega Man count as a sexy man? I thought people appreciated Mega Man from a wholesome place.
Did I say Megamind? I meant to say Megamind, not Mega Man.
Oh, did I say? Well, never mind. The point stands. I'm talking about
picked-
Megamind.
We picked exact results from the specific poll. Oh yeah, we got a Reagan. That's our last one. We picked results from the specific Twitter poll about Tumblr sexy men. So all of them are on there somewhere. Anyhow, that's my exciting bit. We got some news.
Oh yeah. We got. I scrounged up a little news.
Okay.
We got
I interrupt again, but
Oh,
Just nothing. Please continue.
Okay.
Wait, did you just say I don't want to interrupt again? And
Listen. I meant to think that. I didn't mean to say it out loud. It's been a
So
long day.
so anyway, we got two items in those, which is Masaki Yuasa's Inu-Oh has been nominated for a Golden Globe.
Huh.
Which is cool as hell. I saw that movie. I didn't like it as much right after I saw it, but over time I've grown more fond of it. It's a good movie.
Was that the one of the ones you went to see at the art place?
Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah.
saw at the museum. Yeah,
Culture.
Sweet.
that's cool as hell. Everybody should see that movie. It's good.
Yeah.
And also, Netflix has landed the live action adaptation of My Hero Academia with the writer for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh.
Yay! I'm being mostly
Alright.
sarcastic.
Fascinating.
I don't you love Western live action anime adaptations? They've all been so great.
Well, we haven't even seen what's happening with One Piece yet.
It's gonna
It's
gonna
been a
be
minute.
interesting because like My Hero Academia is very specifically in Japan, and they talk about America as being a separate country.
Right. Yeah.
But that's never stopped the American
Nope.
live action adaptation from putting it in America.
I mean, look at
See Death Note.
yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
because that's the best, most successful thing ever.
With Willem Dafoe. You know, we give Death Note a lot of shit, but Willem Dafoe was the absolutely correct casting for that character.
No, like that was an actually good casting, honestly.
Objectively correct. Anyway, as for what we do here, I think Louis, you had something.
Hello, I'm Louis. That's me. What if I just like introduce myself all over again? Like,
do it, coward.
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. Okay. So let me blow on my dice and just roll them for good luck.
Okay.
I am bringing a show done by one of my favorite studios, Mappa. You might know them.
Hmm.
Yep.
You might be very familiar with them, actually. It's Vinland Saga.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's been hovering around like the edges of my awareness.
Yeah,
for a long time,
same.
Same.
and I
Yeah.
simply haven't messed with it. So yeah, okay, let's watch Vinland Saga.
Happy Leif Erikson Day. Hinga dinga durgan.
Oh yeah,
What's with fucking anime like doing historical figures dirty like this? Like, do you remember Shakespeare and fucking like Romeo and Juliet?
I'm gonna come out in Vinland Saga's defense here, and that Leif Erikson was kind of an ass.
Okay, good to know.
I've
Well,
read extensively about Leif Erikson, and yeah, he was
Okay.
kind of an ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I take it back then.
Yeah.
Maybe not completely accurate characterization. There was significantly less murder from this Leif, but
Yeah, no, I was immediately sus when he was talking about, oh yeah, this new land, my land is here. It's mine.
it's
I saw
fine.
the natives, and it's
I own
mine
it.
now.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, I made friends with it. Sure,
Yeah,
you
they're
did,
friends.
Dave.
Uh-huh.
You know what?
Yeah, you
I
were
should have said-
friends.
I should have said is that what's with anime and calling like historical like figures perverts.
This is true. We can't.
That is a trend that has been.
Yeah, we can't really
It is
make any
funny.
remarks on Leif Erikson's perversion. It wasn't really written down in the sagas.
Yeah.
But anyway, who wants this blurb?
Yeah. Louis.
All right, I'll drop it here.
What about Louis?
You're gonna read
You're
for the
reading
class
you're
today.
reading the blurb today.
Am I?
If you want.
No hablo inglés.
Okay.
No, it's
Yep.
fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. Young Thorfinn grew up listening to the stories of old sailors that had traveled the ocean and reached a place of legend, Vinland. It is said to be warm and fertile, a place where there would be no need for. Sorry, I saw the word fertile and my brain just like wanted to make so many jokes. A place where there would be no need for fighting. Not at all like the frozen village in Iceland where he was born, and certainly not like the current life as a mercenary. His current life as a mercenary. War is his home now. Though his father once told him, "You have no enemies. Nobody does. There is nobody who it's okay to hurt." As he grew, Thorfinn knew that nothing was further from the truth. The war between England and the Danes grew worse with each passing year. Death has become commonplace, and the Viking mercenaries are loving every moment of it. Hell yeah. I added that for the record. Allying with either side will cause a massive swing in the balance of power, and the Vikings are happy to make names for themselves and take any spoils they earn along the way. Among the chaos, Thorfinn must take his revenge and kill, oh boy, Askeladd,
Mhm.
I think, the man who murdered his father. Spoiler alert. The only paradise for the Vikings, it seems, is the era of war and death that rages on. The end.
Yeah,
Yep.
Beautiful.
that terrible war between the English and the Danes about how the Danes bathe and steal all the English women.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what we're looking at. We're looking at like semi-historical fiction here.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
realize it
weird.
was historical fiction.
I did go into this thinking this was going to be another fantasy universe. No, it's just our
No,
world.
no, it's in Iceland. Leif Erikson is there.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know anything
uh,
about this before I
uh,
watched.
Harold Haraldra is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, we open on our character, a main character, Thorfinn's father, Thor's. Um, there's going to be a lot of Thor guys, just in general. Like people talk about like the Asgardians and shit, but like no, it was Thor. Everybody liked Thor. He was god of like the peasantry of the people, because he was a nature god. So like he was the one that was most important to most people.
Yeah.
Um, so you're going to see a lot of Thors. But anyway, we open on Thor's uh, in a battle on the sea, which I don't know how many like Viking sea battles actually took place. They tended to do most of their fighting after they like sailed up a river and got off the boat. But there's a sea battle going on, and Thor's is whooping people's asses. He's kind of daydreaming about his wife too.
Do it
Um,
for the wifey.
but yeah, he has to come back to reality and kill a whole bunch of people.
It's kind of badass.
Yeah, the action here is quite well animated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and basically, yeah, the whole scene is him and one of his buddies, one of his Viking buddies, just being like, well, if we don't do something, shit's gonna go south.
Mm-hmm. And then shit does indeed go south.
So Thor's decides to just do it himself and
Mm-hmm.
jumps from boat to boat, killing motherfuckers until unfortunately he stops for a second and he gets shot with an arrow and then fights with a guy and they both go overboard
Yeah, tossed into the sea.
into the sea and he just swims to shore.
Yep.
While all the boats burn behind him. And then we have our intro, which is it's an intro.
It's a bop.
Scream me.
I quite liked it.
It's
Yeah.
done by Survive Said the Prophet. I don't know.
I'm not into them. They have a screamo vibe to them that does not do it for me.
I'm
I mean,
kind
that's
of
fair.
the screamo
When-
vibe, honestly.
when they like started doing the scream, I was like, oh, okay, this is different and interesting. I like it.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Not for you. That's fine.
Like the show was.
Writing this down for your yearly review.
Um, but yeah, after that intro, we basically we have an episode of just basically daily life in Iceland, which guess
Yeah.
what? It's fucking cold.
Kind of sucks.
Um, they're all inside. About a foot of snow has fallen, and they're just like, "Oh, we got to bring some of the sheep in because it's too fucking cold. They'll die." And and Uncle Leif is there, and he's telling all the village kids about Vinland, about
Mhm.
the place he discovered. Which, to be fair, he did discover it. Um,
I mean, he found it
there were already some people
to
living
some
there,
degree.
but he
Yeah.
was the first European to find it.
Sure.
Um, and he's got a little feather headdress and a pipe
Yeah.
that he says were gifts from them. Which is okay, sure. You didn't totally steal that from a dead body, but anyway. But yeah, he's just riling the kids up. And they're kind of giving him a good natured ribbon because they're just like I don't know if I believe all this shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, sounds fake, but okay.
You might just be a crazy old man. um,
It's funny because when he was doing his storytelling, like about 2 seconds in, I literally wrote down dot 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 leaf
yeah, that's
question
him.
mark. And sure enough.
Um, Leif Erikson, the only explorer who discovered new countries because he got thrown out of the old ones.
He's like, where else am I gonna go? I'll sail over the edge, I
Yeah,
guess.
he mentioned that he was living in Greenland. He was only living there because he got thrown out of Iceland.
Uh-huh.
um, but anyway, so yeah, the kids are there, and Thor's comes back inside, and he's just like, "Why are the kids still up?" He's just like, "Okay, send everybody home." They're riling up Leif. And they send all the kids home, and then they sit and they just talk about how bad shit is for a while
Hmm.
because it is cold in Iceland and Greenland.
Yeah.
Leif's telling them about how a couple of people just straight up died from the cold.
Hmm.
And
And they breathe.
one day there'll be a winter that kills all of us because it's
It
so
kills
cold.
all of us. It's just like, it's really nice and cheery.
Yeah.
Um. So, let's see what's next. They basically like set like our viewpoint character is mostly Thorfinn. So
This Alphonse Elric ass looking child.
yeah, so eventually he goes off to bed and later wakes up to find his sister in bed with him because it's too fucking
It's
cold.
cold. She's snuggling.
And after he was having some dreams about discovering Vinland and slaying Jormungandr himself.
Hmm.
Um,
And getting crushed to death.
but he notices that they're still up and talking, and he's just like, "Oh, it's like, what are they talking about?" She's like, "Shut up, worrying is for adults,"
Yeah.
and they go to sleep.
Hmm.
And the next morning, they have to do incomprehensible Iceland tasks, such as getting on the fucking roof to get the snow off before it fucking
Hmm.
caves in the
That's
house.
it. Yeah.
Um, and his sister Ylva is bitching about it. She's like, "Why don't we get a slave?
It's like, ooh, sister is problematic.
Like, why don't we get a thrall so that we could have somebody do this and I don't have to?" And he's just like, "We don't do that.
Did
Stop
you not read your
asking."
textbook about our history? We don't do that.
This moment is also going to serve as ironic foreshadowing because
Yeah, and she falls her ass off the roof.
she's fine because there's a foot of
She's
snow.
fine. Yeah, there's a foot of snow, and she discovers that she landed on something. She's like, "There's something under the snow here," and she digs it up, and it's a guy. There's a guy with a manacle around his neck under the snow.
Yep.
And yeah, he's an escaped like thrall.
Yep.
So they rush him into the house and try and look
He is
after him.
essentially dead.
Yeah. Well, he's been wandering through the snow all night.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring him in, and she's just like, well, isn't he already dead? Look, his hands and feet are already rotten. And it's just like, oh no, that's frostbite. That's
Yeah.
very unpleasant. But yeah, they try and bring him back, and while they do that, Thorfinn is out hanging out with Uncle Leif while he works on a boat. And he's just like, well, if all that shit is true, why don't you take me with you? It's just like, I don't want to take you with because you're a child.
Go ask
Why
your
don't you
dad.
why don't you ask your dad? He's like, I already asked my dad, and he said no. It's just like, you know why he said no, right? He doesn't want you to die.
Mhm.
The sea is fucking terrifying, boy.
It's bad.
And he tells a
Scary.
story about how he got caught in an ice floe, and it
Yeah.
crushed their boat, and they had to walk across the frozen sea, and he was the only one who made it back to Greenland. And the boy doesn't absorb it at all.
He's just like, whoa, cool.
It's just like, no, terrifying. Do you understand?
This kid's like 10. Give him a break.
I knew all of those men. But anyways, we come back in. They managed to revive the slave. And it turns out he's from Halfdan's house, which is like over the mountain on the other side of the island. And they're just like, oh shit, it's against the law to hide an escaped slave and stuff.
Yeah.
And Thor's is just like, I don't know if it's that much of a problem. But then Halfdan just shows up. He just appears at the docks.
Halfdan is a freako, by the way.
Yeah.
Halfdan's a freak.
He's so scary.
Halfdan shows up and soliloquizes about how the only necklace that looks good on a man is a chain.
While waving his big chain around.
Yeah, he's just got a
Like,
big length of chain. And the villagers from this place are understandable. We're like, hey, dude, what the fuck you doing here? Because apparently, inner tribal conflicts are pretty common in this era, and everybody has beef with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they have very specific beef of, hey, it's that kid who cut my fucking arm off in the last fight.
And then the kid is just like, you
Well,
cut my brother's leg off. I'm gonna do more.
It's just like, I'll cut your leg off. And then
So they're about to go at it, yeah.
You know, healthy conflict resolution.
Uh-huh.
Tit for
Well, this
tat,
is-
as usual.
this was the main problem with Nordic culture. 100 years. It's because somebody started it and it just never stopped.
Uh-huh.
But Halfdan sees fit to stop it violently by wrapping a chain around that guy's head.
His guy, by the way.
His guy, he's just like, stop acting like a fucking animal.
That
And
scene was gross.
it's funny, they talk about how Leif was going to intervene, and then they were afraid he was going to start a fight, and then Leif just doesn't say anything in that scene.
Yeah.
He just
It just
kinda
sort of
watches.
all happens in front of him, and he's just like, well, shit. So yeah, when they cut back in to the house, this man is clearly dying.
Yeah, he
This man is
doesn't
doomed.
have much time left on
He's
this
having
planet.
visions of being in beautiful like fields with his family. He's like, family, where did you go?
It's just like they sold this separately. It's just like, oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
And he's like Slavic, so he's like from he's like from like Poland.
Mhm.
So this sucks.
Yeah, it's not great.
And they're just like, they're listening to a dog, and he's just like, it's Vinland, far to the west, where it's no need for fighting and no
Mhm.
slave
There's
traders.
no slavers, and I was just like, yet.
Just like, come live there with us someday. And he's just like, oh yeah. And then Halfdan just comes into his house, which
Mhm.
is like bad manners.
Mhm.
And he says, that guy, I'll be taking that. And Thor's is just like, how much did you pay for him? It's like, I don't know, 2 sheep. It's just like, what if I gave you 3 sheep? And he's just like, well, I gotta take him back and torture him in front of the other slaves to teach them a lesson. Which, by the way, is not like something the Vikings like did. I should mention the
They got
broader
stereotypes. Also, there
Nordic
might have been a
cultures.
couple of freaks in there now and then, so
True
it's
enough,
not super unbelievable.
but like thralls had like rights under the law and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just like, well, what if I offered you 4? And he's just like, what if I wanted twice that? And he's just like, all right. It's just like, he'd give me 8 sheep for a half dead Polish man.
Yep. I mean, good for Thor. It's good for our boy.
And he's just like,
human life.
he's just like, I'll do it. And Halfdan, proving that he is wiser than he is evil, is just like, great, I'll pick the sheep. I'm mercantile, man. So yeah, they buy this guy. And the next scene is at night, and Yova is just crying out loud because she's just like, why do you have to be so fucking stupid? You've paid 8 sheep for that guy, and then he just died.
Yeah, so that guy pretty much just died instantly after that scene, essentially.
Thor's is just standing out there with a shovel, is just like, how long is it going to take me to teach my children the value of human life?
You're right.
Oh,
poor guy.
Isn't that basically the end?
Yeah, that's pretty much where the episode ends.
One thing I wanted to point out, which I don't think is like something that the Vikings were known to do, is CPR.
Oh yeah. They did straight up CPR, and I was like,
yeah, they were doing chest compressions on this man, which I don't think is how you fix like hypothermia anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, they tell you to do chest compressions on pretty much anything that happens. So it's a valid technique.
Also, they don't know staying alive because it hasn't been written yet.
That's true.
You're so right.
This significantly predates the Bee Gees, so.
I looked up CPR on Wikipedia just out of curiosity when it was like sort of invented, and it sort of went there was sort of like there was like 2 technologies in the text tree here. One was do tobacco smoke enemas, and then they figured out CPR.
Oh,
excellent.
Wow. That's a pathway.
Yeah.
I know CPR wasn't even common in even in like the 50s. So
yeah.
Because back then they just told you if your child was choking on something, they would just punch them in the stomach until it came out. But
listen, the Vikings were built different. They to punch.
They were advanced.
Watch this anomaly be like part intentional, and we find out in like episode 7 that they're secretly time travelers.
Yeah. Thor's came back from 1990. Live a more pure life in Iceland.
God, could you imagine? That'd be such a fucking not a twist, but just like a fucking long game, you know? Like, I would respect that.
But also, you are guaranteeing yourself a horrible death. There is, that's not even a spoiler. They said in the blurb that we read, which the blurb goes way beyond what we watched in episode 1. Our boy Thor's is very going to die.
Well, yeah.
Presumably a violent death.
Someone is probably going to stab him to death.
Yeah.
And then his son Thorfinn is gonna have to go on a revenge quest.
It wasn't as high as people would have you think, but yeah, the chance of being stabbed to death with a sword was significantly higher at that point than it is now.
It's not non-zero now, but it's pretty low.
But let's talk about the show. Let's see. It was nice to look at.
Yeah.
It was very pretty.
Very
the art
pretty.
was great.
Okay, there was a moment in the end credits where I just was like watching the water that animated, and I was just like, that is the best anime water I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, just the way they captured just like the waves, like sort of like merging
It's
and
good.
They did
squishing
a
into
really
each
good
other.
job.
Yeah. And you could just feel the
Yeah.
energy behind it. Very good.
It looks a little bit like Attack on Titan in places.
I was actually thinking
Well,
that.
Mappa also did Attack on Titan.
Mappa did Attack on Titan, and it's also full of Germanic people. So
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say Thorfinn is gonna level up into an what's the little blonde kid from Attack on Titan?
Armin,
Yeah, he's gonna evolve into an Armin lookalike, I think.
he's a little shaggier if I remember correctly, but
Fair enough.
um, but yeah. Other than that, I have to say it didn't really grab me. It doesn't put the hooks in very well.
Eh,
Although I will give it credit, is it looks like it's developing. It's trying to develop itself as like a character drama.
sure. And also, I think this first episode was intentionally like slower,
Hmm.
so that they could get you attached to the characters. I want to say, but I can kind of respect that.
I found it quite boring. But
Hmm.
I'm I think my brain is broken because even the fucking like fight scene at the beginning I was just kind of bored with. I think it's just that this kind of stuff is not for me. That's fine.
Yeah. That's understandable.
But I get to appreciate it on other merits. I thought it was like an
Um,
interesting new take on the genre, and I thought that was fun.
So I enjoyed it, but I also had to watch it at 5 times speed to not zone out.
That's
I don't even know how this is
fast.
possible.
Listen, it's been established that it was very slow.
That's true.
I
You
don't
know
think
what?
I don't think 5 times speed would work for everything, but it worked for this.
It's just a matter of like how fast you read the subtitles because I
Yeah.
can't read that fast.
Yeah, I mean, I caught everything. In the recap, you didn't mention anything that I didn't remember, so that's good.
This is just
Um,
an exacerbated problem of the problem of watching at 2 times speed. It's just like why would you do this? Everything's gonna look fucked up.
When will
I
you
mean,
stop?
when there were like more like fancier animated parts, I did go back and watch them at 1 time speed to appreciate the art better.
Fair
Like
enough.
I I don't know.
I will never understand.
Yeah, and I
Listen,
like this that we have to one up each other. We're gonna get to a point where we have to process each anime in about 10 seconds. That's the future. That's the future that you guys want.
Hey,
One of these
listen,
days I'm just gonna-
listen. My max is 2. My max is 2. I'm not going above 2. Stop lumping me in with him.
One of these days I'm just gonna come in here and say I watched it in 100 times speed and I didn't watch it at all, and I'm just gonna make up my review.
Just blinked. I've been keep
Um,
saying that we have to have an unfiction episode where we just come in and like improv an anime together.
Well, okay.
Oh.
Another thing that I would want to say about this is, this kind of felt like it was trying to scratch that edutainment itch. Um, sort of, in a sort of. I wouldn't say I would compare them, but it's kind of tangential. I feel like to Golden Kamuy, in that.
Oh yeah, it's got a semi-historical setting,
Yes, exactly.
like
And
real historical place with mostly fictional
yes,
characters.
yes. And I kind of appreciated that. I this one kind of caught me a little bit. I could see myself getting into this one, is what I'm gonna say.
Of the two, I would probably be more likely to watch Golden Kamuy because
Yeah, I feel that
it has
way
a better
too.
hook.
Yeah, no, it does. I feel
I
that way
think
too, but I don't. I like. Again, I could see it hooking me for the same reasons. Is what I'm
I
trying to get at there.
I think this is one of those shows that work better if you binge it because I've heard good things about it, but
Mm.
everyone I've heard that say good things about it have been like you have to watch the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know. I tried to not read too much into it because I kind of wanted to save it for this episode if we ever
Mhm.
did it.
And also, that's the point of our podcast.
Right, yeah.
So,
Um,
so would you guys watch more of it? I'm gonna say I'm probably not gonna watch more of it because not because it's bad, but because I have a lot on my plate.
put me down for maybe.
Also, a tentative maybe. Like I said, it was fine enough.
Mhm.
I also have a lot on my plate, so.
Yeah, like it's not something I would put on right away, but if I didn't have anything else in my backlog, I would put it on. Yeah.
Yep.
We'll assume
Michael?
Blackles would know.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
There were no hackers, so.
So
I don't need hackers. I just need it to be weird.
You just need a
I need it to be
maid or
You
fucking
needed-
deranged, is what I like.
you needed
Okay.
you needed to be odd.
It needs to be odd, like a taxi.
like a taxi.
So if you guys have a favorite historical anime, you can tell us about that at oneepisodecast@gmail.com.
Yes, that is one the word, not the number. You can tweet us your pitches for a historical anime that's not out there yet.
Oh.
We'll give you readings, ratings. We'll give you feedback.
This is the
And
same.
y'all should tell us which historical figure you want to call a pervert.
Yes, absolutely do tell us that on our Twitter. We are at One Episode Cast.
God, this is just the Assassin's Creed thing again. What era would you like to see Assassin's Creed in?
They should make an Assassin's Creed anime. I don't know about that.
They,
I think they.
I
Wait,
think
You know, they probably
had
did
to have.
actually.
they made
had
some
to,
comics.
right?
I know that much. Let's see. Like what would be the weirdest? What Boxer Rebellion anime? There you go. British Opium War anime.
I would say an anime about the surge in antitrust law, like law enforcement in the early 20th century.
You know what? They
No, I
should
want an
make
anime about the breakup of Jersey Standard. That's what I want.
Excellent.
anime about the Whiskey Rebellion. That's my answer.
All right.
Y'all are
Anime
taking
about
all the good ones.
fucking John Brown.
I want an anime where Paul Revere is on his way to tell people the British are coming and he gets hit by the isekai truck somehow.
He gets hit by the isekai carriage. Fuck.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.